Welcome to Dark Psychology World Channel. I hope you like it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Now I will start reading this book to you. Joyful Life, written and published by Life. Joy, we all aspire to it in life, but it frequently seems unattainable. We become mired in the daily stresses of job, family responsibilities, health problems, and other things. Before we know it, we've lost all of our happiness and are completely exhausted. What if, however, there was a simple way to unlocking lasting joy in your life? There is, and that's exactly what you'll discover in Joyful Life. In this transformative book, you'll be introduced to 12 simple yet profound secrets that can dramatically increase your level of happiness, gratitude, and general well-being. These are also neither band-aid nor fast fixes. They stand for important mental adjustments and constructive behaviors that will enable you to exude happiness from the inside out, regardless of the unforeseen obstacles life presents. The 12 secrets revealed in Joyful Life result in significant optimism and personal development. You will discover the transformative power of accepting who you are, letting go of past wrongs, adopting an optimistic outlook, forming supportive friendships, kicking bad habits, and much more. After reading this book, you'll have a toolkit full of doable exercises, strategies, and recommendations to help you choose joy every day, deal with stress, and conquer hardship. This book is for you if you want to radically change the way you perceive and interact with the world. The choice is clear: continue feeling drained, worried, and unhappy, or discover the secrets to becoming an unconditionally joyful person. Start down the road to long-term health, happiness, and tranquility by reading in Joyful Life. Now, Lesson 1: Accept yourself. Completely accepting yourself is one of the most important things you can do to live a joyful life, because so often we are our own worst critics, constantly judging ourselves and putting ourselves down over perceived flaws and mistakes, when in reality we are perfectly imperfect human beings worthy of love and belonging no matter what. But self-acceptance starts with making the choice to let go of self-criticism and negative self-talk, and instead speaking words of kindness, encouragement, and empathy to ourselves as we would a close friend, which actually triggers the release of feel-good hormones in the brain, making us happier in the process. An important part of self-acceptance is acknowledging that just like everyone else on this planet, you are a complex, nuanced human being, not a one-dimensional caricature. So that means embracing all aspects of yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, your wins and losses, your past and your past and your past and your past and your future, unfolding with compassion rather than condemnation, which will likely involve reframing your beliefs and assumptions about yourself that were shaped in childhood or by past negative experiences, using tools like cognitive behavioral therapy and positive affirmations to develop a more balanced, truthful narrative about who you really are. With consistent daily practice over time, self-acceptance shifts from something you force yourself to do to simply your natural state of being, which allows you to move through the world with much more confidence, freedom, and joy, knowing that you always have your own back no matter what, and are enough just as you are, without having to struggle for perfection or people please in order to earn approval or belonging. The first step toward achieving true long-lasting joy in your life is accepting yourself for who you are. Your self-perception affects all aspects of your life, including your relationships, career, health, and sense of meaning and purpose. If you don't accept yourself for who you are, flaws and all. It can lead to an inner critic and sabo, who stifles your happiness. Self-rejection can take the form of perfectionism, negative self-talk, social isolation, people-pleasing, and incessant comparisons which drain your energy and mind. Your own self-perception creates inner turmoil that prevents you from feeling safe or appreciating the present moment. You end up becoming your own worst enemy. On the other hand, embracing who you are with compassionate awareness silences your inner critic and makes room for happiness. According to study, being able to enjoy oneself in one's own company guilt-free or with shame is a crucial component of self-acceptance and overall well-being, since your sense of worth is based on the inner knowledge that you deserve love exactly as you are, rather than on the approval of others. You can let go of people-pleasing and social masks when you can recognize your humanity along with everyone else's. This makes intimacy, taking risks, and failing much less terrifying, which frees you to face life head on when you accept all of your aspects. You avoid using your shortcomings as a weapon against yourself in trying situations. Self-acceptance is the radical idea that you are enough no matter what, and it is the cornerstone of true joy. It is not self-indulgence. The moment to embrace who you are is now, not when you reach a goal like losing weight, getting a promotion, or accomplishing anything else. This is because associating accomplishments with self-acceptance will trap you in a never-ending cycle of perfectionism, which will prevent you from experiencing true joy, which comes from within and does not depend on external markers like goals. Every day offers chances to work on self-acceptance. For example, when you make a mistake at work, mess up at home, or fall short in any other situation, meet yourself with kindness in that instant rather than criticism. When your negative self-talk starts to creep in and tell you harsh truths like you're too lazy or you're not good enough, intentionally replace it with affirmations like I'm perfectly imperfect and I accept myself as I am. Hard times will bring up old doubts and self-judgment instead of self-acceptance, but these are the most crucial times to escape conditional happiness. If you can accept who you are in the face of illness, financial hardship, bereavement, or any other adversity, you will develop an unwavering core confidence and joy. In a similar vein, the people in your life, especially those closest to you, will trigger triggers that cause you to criticize yourself instead of taking offense. Choose to feel compassion for your flaws and peculiarities. True joy can only be found by committing to accepting yourself completely and unconditionally as you are, not as you wish to be. Do this now, not tomorrow. You cannot joyfully accept yourself only in your comfort zone or wait for different conditions before embracing who you are unconditionally with compassion. Instead, you must accept yourself here and now, not some distant place, because self-acceptance is an inside job. It arises from within, not from external circumstances like where you live, how much money you have, your job title, or your relationship status. No matter the setting or circumstance, true self-acceptance radiates, be it at home, at work, on vacation, in a small town, a city skyscraper, or a rural outpost, interacting with friends, or spending time by yourself. Self-acceptance is an internal mentality that arises from a shift in perspective. This means that traveling the world or gaining success and status in your work or studies won't likely instantly provide you self-love if you find it difficult to accept yourself as you are in your day-to-day existence among the known people. and routines in your existing surroundings. Not only is it feasible for you to accept yourself while you read this, but it's also necessary in this commonplace moment amidst the insignificant aspects of your existence. Since that's the way things really are. The delusional belief that you'll finally be able to accept yourself when you move to a new city, meet the one, or receive tenure is merely a psychological ploy to postpone accepting yourself and keep happiness perpetually elusive. There is never going to be a place or circumstance that is ideal and completes you accepting who you are in this moment without reservation is the only path ahead if you truly want to be cheerful from inside. Wherever you are is the place for self acceptance, the journey to self acceptance that unlocks true lasting joy begins with making the conscious choice to shift away from self-criticism and perfectionism. By realizing these brutal inner voices are learned behaviors rooted in past experiences or societal biases rather than objective truth, and cause incredible damage to your mental health and happiness if left unchallenged. So the first step is noticing when that cruel inner dialogue creeps in and consciously countering it with realistic, compassionate thoughts, the way you would reassure a struggling friend, because search shows self-compassion dramatically increases well-being. An integral part of this process is identifying childhood sources or life events that seeded doubts about your worth and capabilities so you can challenge their accuracy and assumptions using tools like cognitive behavioral therapy, affirmations, or journaling to rebuild your self-perception divorced from outdated biases, so perceived flaws you and integrate, like sensitivity, quietness, messiness, etc., reframed as neutral or even positive quirks that add beauty and diversity to the human experience. You also cultivate self-acceptance by honoring your unique wiring, like your personality, work style, learning approach, rather than forcing yourself into ill-fitting boxes, which often leads to burnout. Accepting yourself means respecting your natural rhythms and limitations without criticism or comparison to others, so saying no to overwhelm and prioritizing self-care protect your energy and allows you to show up as your best self instead of berating yourself for poor productivity or time management during periods of depletion. The ultimate realization fostering self-acceptance is that you are a flawed, dynamic human worthy of love no matter what, so embracing both your dark and light successes and struggles makes you more able to extend that grace to others. 2. Recognizing we're all imperfect and growing, learning the art of self-acceptance from those who personify unconditional self-love necessitates paying close attention to their words and deeds in order to understand how they speak to themselves so kindly, forgive themselves for their mistakes so readily, project themselves for their mistakes so readily, project their needs without hesitation, and appear comfortable in their own skin, no matter what. Record their self-care rituals, mantras, and affirmations, stress coping strategies, and rules regarding toxic people or behaviors. These details offer valuable understanding of the underlying values, limits, and routines that enable them to be their own best friends. Ask pointed questions like, what advice would you give your teenage self about self-worth, to get at the heart of how they developed this extreme self-acceptance that now comes so easily. What made the transition from self-punishment to acknowledging your humanity. Frank, talk about the adjustments they had to do to overcome internalized prejudices and outside expectations that had previously motivated their self-criticism so you can model a similar recalibration in order to avoid repressive or dramatic reactions. Observe how people who love themselves well handle conflict, disappointment, and negative emotions. You can also learn how to overcome shame and perfectionism by observing how these people handle self-acceptance and seeing if it remains stable even when they make mistakes. Lastly, you can become an anthropologist of joy by observing how these people light up when talking about their experiences or hobbies, and understanding that embracing uniqueness and wholesome pleasure in life's color makes self-acceptance joyful rather than a dispirited act of self-denial. By showing you exactly how loving attitudes germinate, these research endeavors together assist you in reversing the process of achieving the self-acceptance you so much desire and enable you to develop the same inner base of unwavering delight. People who embrace their whole selves, flaws and all, instead of hiding behind masks and chasing unrealistic ideals, are the ones who can help you cultivate radical self-acceptance and true joy. They set an example of compassion, boundaries, forgiveness, and growth-oriented mindsets, and how they talk to and about themselves. And they will not put up with inner bullies when we don't embrace ourselves completely. We must deny and compartmentalize it. The most supportive people want you to see, know, and enjoy your fullness. Imperfections are normalized by those who can deal with intense emotions and talk candidly about insecurities without devaluing humanity. Seek for companions and friends who, rather than feeding or magnifying your inner critic, help you stop negative self-talk by reassuring you of your intrinsic value. If self-care is hindered by perfectionism, they promote leisure over effort. They assure you that you deserve love for who you are, not only for what you accomplish, and they call out unhealthy people-pleasing. But mentors need to be role models as well, so watch out for poisonous behavior passed off as brutal honesty or conditional assistance. Your growth can be carefully guided by therapists who specialize in addressing shame, inadequacy, and enhancing self-worth. In general, seek out supporters who, while you may be slipping backward, embrace little victories along the way to self-acceptance. Allow others who exemplify grounded self-love to reflect back your wholeness, whether through professional counseling or inspiring role models, so you can remember your inherent beauty, which has always merited delight. Lesson 2: be grateful for everything. A regular practice of gratitude rewires thought patterns away from entitlement, bitterness, and scarcity thinking, and towards abundance, allowing you to extract more meaning and satisfaction from your current circumstances rather than constantly hungering for more or different. This can significantly increase your levels of happiness and life satisfaction because it diverts your mind's focus from negative ruminations about what you lack or haven't yet achieved to recognition of the gifts and blessings you already have, which triggers positive emotions like joy, contentment, and optimism. Maintaining a gratitude journal in which you jot down a few sentences each day expressing your gratitude for something such as a satisfying mealtime spent with loved ones or an unexpected act of kindness from a stranger can boost positive feelings and heighten your awareness of the variety of everyday blessings that you might otherwise take for granted. In addition to enhancing relationships and self-esteem, expressing real gratitude and appreciation to friends, mentors, and co-workers through genuine praise, thanks, and recognition models gratitude as an Intentional habit and mindset that impacts quality of life rather than a transient emotion, regularly being grateful for even the smallest daily moments of beauty, joy, compassion, or humor compounds over time like tiny drops of oil to create a vast inner ocean that immerses your perspective in appreciation, wonder, and possibility instead of entitlement and dissatisfaction. This allows your baseline state to change from one of radical abundance to one of anxiety, disappointment, or uncertainty, regardless of external circumstances. Envy, bitterness, and taking things for granted are the traps that prevent you from experiencing lasting joy because they distort your perception so that you constantly focus on issues, shortcomings, flaws, and what's missing, rather than the beauty and blessings that are abundantly present right in front of you. Ingratitude, like horse blinders, narrows your vision to tunnel vision, preventing you from noticing small daily miracles that surround you, like friends, nature, health, freedom, or simple comforts. Without gratitude, you mentally fixate on getting, achieving, and gaining more, but your brain functions like a sieve. New acquisition flow in quickly, but appreciation flows out just as quickly. So nothing satisfies for long. This is the chronic treadmill of constantly wanting more attempts to fill a hole that ingratitude itself, on the other hand, cultivating an attitude of thankfulness causes an instant mental change that helps you perceive abundance. Instead of dwelling on your unfulfilled desires, you begin to focus on what you already have, which teaches your brain to record blessings everywhere. According to research, thankfulness can rewire neural pathways from anxiety to happiness. People who had previously been furious but kept gratitude journals reported experiencing significant drops in resentment as their focus moved from what they lacked to how much they already had. When you feel appreciated, negative comparisons, grievances, and perfectionism go away, and you are filled with pleasant energy and lightness, since gratitude cannot coexist with entitlement or scarcity attitudes that mislead you. It essentially switches the script to joy. Once you open your eyes and give real thanks for everything that is, you will find yourself starving spiritually amid a feast of riches. The opportune time to cultivate gratitude is not just during life's joyful moments, though certainly celebrate when fortunes shine upon you, but rather when challenges arise which reveal how fragile blessing can be. For adversity builds spiritual muscle if met with a grateful heart instead of resentment at suffering's unfairness or crusty entitlement that this fate should not have befallen you. Indeed, do not wait until old age and the threat of loss make you nostalgically grateful for all persons and days previous taken for granted, like oxygen itself, for lack of conscious appreciation. When younger, the hallmark of abiding joy is waking each more, counting blessings no matter how meager, seeing beauty and wonder all around, regardless of where one finds oneself on life's ever-turning wheel. Our human lot is such that nothing gold can stay forever. Thus true wisdom lies in holding loosely all that appears good, lest we cling to fleeting pleasures as though they ought remain just so, then fall to despair when the ever-flowing river that is life bears such gifts inevitably away as it must, to make room for new ones down the banks unseen around the bend. Thus practice appreciation now while you still have the days and resources to enter this condition of grace by consciously observing acts of kindness, no matter how small, such as APPR, praise, spotless bedding, shining stars, or morning bird songs. Don't wait until time takes away Your opportunity to be in wonder or fall, in love with or discover beauty in the fractal patterns seen in both nature's design and humanity's greatest moments. Because evolution has given us brains that tend to focus on what is wrong, rather than the much larger sea of right, for which we should be grateful every day. Gratitude can and must bloom wherever you happen to find yourself, along life's serpentine path. For sincere appreciation is not confined to a pleasant setting, but rather is an innate human capacity and conscious choice, enabling us to alchemize misfortune into grace. Do not defer thankfulness, imagining it cannot take root in seemingly unpromising soil or wait for ideal conditions to arrive, as gratitude's transformative magic manifests only when you commit to see blessings and possibility with refined vision, not dependent circumstances. Just as hardy flowers push up through cracks and concrete, their tender shoots nonetheless lifting themselves skyward, so too can gratitude flower luxuriantly even when you dwell in the shade of adversity or hardships. Long night, the incarcerated poet pens ODS about small graces, a kind guardworms in the yard after rain, his own beating heart each new dawn, though behind bars in dismal cell block, while the terminal patient gives thanks for extra painless hours granted, singing birds near the hospital window, the smile of a passing nurse. Then realize that true appreciation is not a luxury saved for the cozy and secure, but rather a choice to accept each moment as a gift, regard less of what has come before or what lies ahead. Develop this muscle by deliberately looking for reasons to be grateful in situations where the outside world fails, making graciousness your default attitude. Because if we only open our eyes to look, even seemingly abandoned locations give air to breathe, beauty viewed through warped glass, courage and wisdom forged wherever the wind may carry you. Cultivate appreciation. The first step toward living a happier, more thankful life is making a daily commitment to the practice of actively observing and thinking back on the people, events, necessities, and aspects of life itself that enrich your life and are probably already all around you in abundance, but are often ignored or undervalued due to routine. Every morning when you wake up, pray to shift your focus toward appreciation by listing a few things, no matter how tiny, that you are excitedly anticipating. Then, just before going to bed, give thanks once more for each blessing you previously listed that has now materialized, as well as any unexpected presence the day made clear. Make it a habit to take regular breaks from activities between sunrise and sunset to intentionally reflect on or say things that bring you joy, rather than rushing through your totoist unthankful, believing that absent constant grace, greater blessings will come to them. Naturally maintain a grateful mindset by placing motivational sayings, pictures, and altarpieces that symbolize abundance as a reminder to shift your attention away from negative thought patterns. Anytime they entice you, silence your mind's constant chatter and craving for more by writing down in your journal a few sentences every evening of about 3 to 5 things you were grateful for that day. This reflection will show you how rich life already is. Moreover, give genuine thanks and praise to others, constantly, including those who help you in seemingly invisible roles like a bus driver, barista, or janitor, to broaden your perspective and see all helpers as gifts. Above all, lift your perception from complaining, anxiety, and not enough tunnel vision by conscious blessing situations and souls exactly as they are, then releasing them, trusting that wholeness always flows from the hand of A friendly universe. Lesson 3: Forgive other people who hurt you. Proactive forgiveness lowers those toxic markers, directly correlated to anxiety and depression beyond the physical benefits. The mental grip of rumination about the unfairness or severity of a perceived transgression against you locks your mind in endless loops about the offense, making it impossible to move past it. Forgiveness, which is the deliberate letting go of bitterness, resentment, and the need to punish those who have harmed or offended you, is a profoundly liberating gift you give not only to those who have hurt you, but perhaps most importantly to yourself, since unresolved grudges and scorekeeping of wrongs done in prison your spirit, blocking inner peace and joy. But once you make the conscious decision to release someone from your judgment by choosing to reframe their motivations with compassion and grant them the grace to grow that all flawed humans deserve, you've successfully severed the toxic tie and reclaimed your right to peace, regardless of the path they choose. Write a letter to yourself stating your true feelings and then burn it symbolically instead of viewing forgiveness as endorsing wrong deeds. Consider it as dispelling their power, so that inner understanding, not resentment, serves as your emotional armor against future harm. To reinforce new brain pathways, repeat affirmations of letting go whenever unpleasant memories resurface in order to move back into the flow of love. Forgiveness is a muscle that must be gradually strengthened through practice and self-care. However, the act of surrendering resentment leads directly to freedom, because you cannot control how other people behave. All you can do is control how you respond. Take responsibility for your actions and trust that the universe will take care of the rest, balancing all debts in due course. It may seem like self-defense to harbor grudges and grievances, but in reality, the unforgiven transgression festers within you, causing far greater inner turmoil and corrosion of your spirit than any momentary release or moral high ground. Judging the offender wrongdoing gives. Research confirms that dwelling in resentment damages your mental and physical health by raising stress hormones, blood pressure, and heart disease risk. Additionally, it fosters obsession about the original betrayal, which often turns toxic over time as you ruminate about justice, blame, vengeance, or comeuppances, and instead of moving forward constructively. Sincere forgiveness, on the other hand, neutralizes terrible scars from your past, enabling you to transcend victimization and self-pity and instead embrace your own self-affirming power, declaring, what you did hurt me deeply, yet I refuse to let it make me bitter, define, or limit me. Frees yourself from the offender's guilt and eventually restores your inner peace. More than their conscience, this takes bravery and self-care. The goal isn't to be cleared in the first place, rather it's to free yourself so that grace and healing can overcome destructive scorekeeping. We can all evolve via forgiveness, which means that one mistake does not negate one's humanity or hope. In the end, the greatest gift it can provide you, though, is the freedom to move on from past wounds and return to joy and possibility for yourself, for only light has the power to drive out darkness. Forgiveness is the soul's light. The first step in forgiving someone who has hurt or offended you is to acknowledge the full depth of your hurt and the anger that their harmful words or actions have caused. This is because trying to get over it too soon will only make the injury worse and unintentionally release toxins into your relationships and mental state. While clenching your teeth and saying, "I forgive you," won't convince your inner Self-catharsis and self-validation are necessary for the healing process to begin discover constructive ways to express your emotions without passing judgment or downplaying them, such as through expressive arts counseling, writing, or talks with reliable confidants. Understand that wishing for someone to change or apologize naively frequently results in disappointment. There. Choose to forgive for your own peace of mind rather than their change. Sincere good wishes for their success on their own journey can ease stiffness and rage and create room for understanding of the fallible humanity we all share. Take into account their background and any pain that may have motivated their transgressions. The goal is to free your spirit from a prison of hatred, as they probably continue unpunished while you carry the weight of injustice and bitterness. Even severe harm frequently results from inner wounds that produce empathy rather than an explanation. To gradually retrain neural pathways away from rumination, repeat the mantra, I free myself by forgiving, on a regular basis. Visualize a physical release like balloons drifting skyward, carrying pain transformed into kindness. For all over time, genuine forgiveness cleanses the soul of like hatred and vengeance, leaving only compassion flowing freely as enduring peace. The moment to forgive is not necessarily when the offending party expresses remorse or asks for absolution themselves, for true change may arise in their conscience only over time or not at all. Hence, do not delay your liberation waiting on apologies or atonement that may never come, but instead empower yourself by consciously choosing to forgive right now in this present moment, recognizing that letting go of anger and judgment is first and foremost a gift of self-care you extend to yourself. The right time is whenever bile of bitterness surges up inside, flowing through thoughts as vengeful plots or victim narratives replay scenes, fueling your indignation and upholding your innocent persecution. In those recurring moments of being triggered, pause to reflect how, by poisoning your days and nights with negative rumination about the transgression, you hand over power and emotional real estate in your precious now for someone already proven willing to hurt you. Consider too, in those tempting instance of self-righteous Rico, you often suffers more imagining comeuppances for them than their conscience ever will for misdeeds enacted. Instead, make the counterintuitive choice of compassion for their flaws and limited vision, which likely arose out of their delusions, wounds, or constraints, just as you too sometimes stumble in blindness, since after all, to understand is to forgive. Free them from the debt that held them both captive, but only pay the price of your spirit after the initial harm. So release yourself by severing deed from doer and letting go of poisonous links without permission from those who tied them, and set yourself free via the alchemy of forgiveness. Just as old wounds sting again, you can claim your recovery. Now the number of times you should forgive someone who has wronged you is infinite, because doing so places conditional constraints on a spiritual act that by its very nature must flow freely from the heart in order to bring about true liberation and peace of mind. Conversely, forgiveness arises from a higher plane of unconditional love, seeking reconciliation rather than punishments, transformation rather than consequences, reflecting recognition that, despite the severity of the crime against your soul, the sacredness of our shared humanity always allows for the possibility of redemption, accountability, and metamorphosis from ignorance into moral enlightenment if we leave space through merciful release rather than slamming doors. With the most severe betrayals testing your limits, take loving steps first by refraining from vengeance speech and action while acknowledging the depths of injury, then progress gradually toward envisioning potential positive outcomes, or even reconciliation once healthy boundaries are respected rather than keeping strict tally of another's sins, demanding a specific pound of flesh. Forgive wholly, again and again, until forgiving itself becomes second nature. Recall that the person who irritates you might eventually vanish, but only you have the unending grace to end the destructive cycle inside of yourself. This grace frequently cascades outward over time to affect and transform others as well. Keep your focus on the spiritual reality that no darkness can withstand light forever, and that forgiveness healing rays shine eternally as human souls awaken. Do not place artificial caps on mercy, because they could limit heavenly possibility. The act of forgiving those who betrayed, hurt, or offended you is an inward journey that begins deep in the recesses of your wounded heart and soul. Hence, the accurate location from which authentic forgiveness must flow is not outwardly standing face to face before the perpetrators themselves demanding they repent so you can benevolently absolve them, but rather the fertile ground where roots of bitterness take hold is within your own being privately, in stillness and solitude, apart from the theater or satisfaction of their asking. Therefore, turn inward without expecting external validation or concessions to sincerely forgive those who harmed you, even if they remain out of reach physically, geographically, or alive merely as ghostly memories that haunt while you bear the pain alone, for their conscience is not key. You liberation is dismantle the prison of resentment your mind build brick by emotional brick, and isolation by consciously envisioning your offenders with ruthless compassion and wishing well the injured part of them that likely spawn injury toward you. Affirm your sincere forgiveness over and over until the tension that was holding you back and making you angry with them eventually releases, making room for grace to return the love that they were unable to give. Therefore, true forgiveness emerges not from the repentance of others, but rather from our own realization that their transgressions are a reflection of our own universal frailties that are always in need of awakened mercy. This is accomplished by extracting wisdom from wounds through the silent crucible of introspective soul searching. Follow this internal route to return to wholeness, and the first miles from which anyone can observe or give credit, because its seed is firmly anchored in your sovereign choice to forgive. From the inside out, the fruit will be in enduring joy that no one can take away. Lesson 4. Practice tolerance every time, developing the trait of tolerance, which is the deliberate decision to tolerate differences and endure uncomfortable people or situations without passing judgment or taking revenge. Promotes far more progress, peace, and understanding than rigid adherence to values or instinctive reactions against anything thought upsetting, unconventional, or disagreeable, which only serve to further agitate and divide. Fostering true tolerance broadens your perspective and helps you see the inherent diversity among people behind behaviors and beliefs that, although they may seem strange or offensive when viewed through a narrow cultural lens, have their own validity and context that dispels arrogant judgments about what is right or wrong. It also tempers impulsive decisions to take action against offensive acts by framing offenders as complex souls who are driven by ignorance rather than as villains. defined only by their misdeeds. Deeply extreme tolerance helps you use your moral imagination to separate ideas from decrees, arguments from principles, and attacks from attacks so that conflicts don't become dehumanizing. Tolerance essentially turns offenses and conflicts that need to be resolved into chances for mutual growth through peaceful interaction with opposing viewpoints. It keeps others from becoming enemies and weakens their ability to disturb your inner peace because you value diversity over conformity. Therefore, tolerance is wisdom that, by seeing everyone as fallible teachers along humanity's meandering path toward expanded consciousness, sets you free from reactionary cycles, strict preconceptions, and conditional acceptance. Patience is what calms the turbulent waters between opposing viewpoints, allowing truth to peek through the violent surface conflicts by raising the soul beyond reflexive judgment. Tolerance allows us to coexist in enlightened harmony with all the forms and hues of our species. The temporary rush of self-righteous certainty felt when condemning others' unfamiliar qualities quickly mutates into chronic rigidity, hostility, and dissatisfaction from fixing on flaws you loathe rather than seeking common ground. Furthermore, villainizing people for provocative views or behaviors you disagree with often exacerbates the schisms you aim to condemn in those parties. If met with only hostility, they often retreat further into radicalization, fostering intolerance toward those who are unlike yourself. Operates like mental poison. It damages, but by deliberately avoiding passing judgment on other people's complicated experiences, you can neutralize toxic energy within yourself and allow genuine communication to flourish. The adage, "Judge not lest you be judged," reflects the spiritual understanding that refraining from passing judgment allows for engagement, context, and subtlety, which frequently results in mutual humanization and, over time, a slow process of reconciliation between parties who were once considered adversaries. Therefore, developing a tolerant mindset is ultimately far more beneficial than virtuous intolerance, which only serves to increase hostility and conflict. For when we recognize even the most unlike us as imperfect fellow travelers, traveling alongside each other on the winding path toward truth, then diversity of viewpoint stops dividing mankind and instead enhances our shared process of becoming. The call to respond with tolerance rather than judgment typically arises in charged interpersonal situations where you encounter people expressing views that significantly provoke your moral sensibilities, upset your beliefs, or embody qualities you perceive as offensive, dangerous, or intolerable. That shocking moment of reckoning with perspectives that deeply disturb your notions of truth, ethics, safety, or appropriateness will test your ability to lean into discomfort and remain open to humanity's inherent diversity rather than following reactive impulses to condemn, dismiss, or punish those representing the apparent affront, while injustice understandably elicits passion. Channel that fire away from hostility or retaliation, which could discourage marginalized voices, reinforce echo chambers, or force alternative views underground without addressing root causes behind them. Instead, have the courage to tolerate patiently, which keeps space open for context, nuance, and gradual mutual education to slowly dissolve ignorance. Over time, remember the peacemaker mindset, which recognizes that shadows in others often reflect our collective fear and unconsciousness, waiting for the light of wisdom through compassion rather than suppression or silencing. Meet even extreme provocation with grounded strength emanating from unshakable certainty in universal justice, which makes retaliation unnecessary when inflammatory, irresponsible, or hateful speech tempts you to react negatively, censor, or attack. Beacons of intolerance, because it is only through accepting each other and all of our diversity, even the immature, that we can get past divisions motivated by fear and find common solutions. With tolerance comes patience, which is based on the belief that truth and reconciliation will eventually surface via continued communication. The first step toward developing greater tolerance is realizing that everyone has experienced complex events that have shaped their perspectives and behaviors. As such, responding to people who irritate you with reflexive judgment, criticism, or condemnation frequently widens gaps. Rather than fostering understanding, rather deliberately work to curb these impulsive reactions by developing self-awareness to catch yourself making assumptions, recognizing projection of your own discomfort with difference onto others deemed to be intolerant, and challenging larger societal prejudices and privileges influencing your thinking to promote humility rather than self-righteousness. Next, expand your moral imagination about a variety of motivations and situations that may have fueled another's instead of butting heads. Ask genuine questions to get context, rather than arguing points in order to identify underlying trauma, insecurity, or needs on both sides. Acknowledge that tolerance is a practice that calls for continual work rather than perfection. You may relapse into rage or judgment, but you must patiently return to the goal of coexistence. In the end, you may allow development to occur by treating even the most disparate people and ideas in your life with basic human respect. Believe that light still exists in everything and take the harder route of dismissing others as hopeless in favor of leading with an open heart. We cannot establish justice until we first walk in love's tolerance. Joy is directly hampered by chronic anger, bitterness, and self-righteous obsession on imperfections you believe unforgivable. Instead, cultivating tolerance involves deliberately restraining judgment toward people and situations that you find new, uncomfortable, or undesirable. A mind that harbors intolerance mentally ties you to negativity by constantly searching for fault. In contrast, accepting humanity's diversity with patience and understanding raises perspective above sweaty reactivity into an expansive bird's-eye view that recognizes nuance and contextualizes behaviors that were once deemed threatening. Gratitude, optimism, and contentment all vanish as a result of irritation with difference and imperfection surrounding you. With tolerance, mental flexibility is built, dissolving rigid assumptions so you notice beauty and validity in other modes of being that contrast with your own norms. Perceived provocations no longer trigger defensive posturing, but instead become fascinating opportunities for mutual growth through open exchange across difference. Consequently, inner peace and equity stabilize, since you expect diversity, not conformity, while maintaining faith that every person harbors goodness awaiting activation. You are no longer burdened by policing your environs for moral deficiencies, and the lightness of acceptance and free flowing compassion become your natural state, ushering in holistic well-being, love, and a stable, accepting environment. Emerge from this place unreliant on other people, living up to your expectations. The alchemy of transforming judgment into interest, imperfections into context, and outly into kinfolk reveals life's richness as a magnificent mosaic whole where wholeness was before hidden by alienation and fragmentation, for beyond all seeming division-tolerant eyes reveal the wonderful unity that exists throughout humanity. Lesson 5: Stop worrying. You can't change what you can't control. The inclination to worry excessively stems from parts of the brain that are instinctively geared toward survival and are constantly scanning for threats and negative outcomes as a misguided attempt to exert control over the uncertainty that lies ahead of us. Rumination is easier for worriers than resting in the present moment, because it seems to help strategize and mitigate risk, even though the majority of what they fear exists only in anxious thoughts rather than reality. When under stress, the mind becomes fixated on doomsday prophecies, recalling past trauma and loss as warning while ignoring available resources and assets. Worrying feels deceptively productive, when in reality it frequently fuels fatalism and paralysis in direct relation to. Furthermore, even when circumstances have little to do with them, worriers sometimes personalize external events and problems as some sort of referendum on their abilities and value. This kind of skewed thinking makes neutral uncertainty feel extremely danger. Those last but not least, worriers frequently identify as anxious, so much so that they oppose interventions that encourage letting go of worry, as if doing so would take away from their identity and perceived capacity for problem solving. Nevertheless, having control over the course of events provides reassuring illusions of influence and security, even if it's just deceptive mental whirling. But if one cultivates the intentionality to change perspective, builds self-trust by facing uncertainty with courage, and rewrite limiting old narratives about one's helplessness in a universe full of hidden miracles patiently waiting for awakened minds bold enough to receive them, life presents countless opportunities to counteract worries. Primitive false safety blankets. Chronic worrying fuels systemic inflammation that jeopardizes physical health by prompting fight or flight reactions that flood the body with inflammatory stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline for extended periods, which strain the heart, raising blood pressure, heart rate, and risk of cardiovascular events. Excessive worrying also slows digestion, triggering gastrointestinal issues like acid reflux, ulcerative colitis, and IPS, while suppressed immunity leaves worry-prone people more susceptible to frequent sickness and infections. Meanwhile, research confirms poor sleep quality from anxious rumination at night correlates to myriad health risks, including cancer, depression, diabetes, and obesity, while accelerated cellular aging attributed to worrying's biochemical chaos reduces longevity. One study found pessimists with the highest anxiety levels died 715 years earlier than more easygoing peers. The overstimulation of imagined emergencies causes the brain and body to become overburdened, ultimately leading to unneeded internal tension and a decline in real health. But just as worry shows up physically, sustainable well-being blossoms when we intentionally shift into the now to access our natural parasympathetic relaxation response, freeing our attention from the toxicity of negative thought loops. After all, your physiology follows your mind, so releasing identification with worry allows for the restoration of balance and the possibility of thriving. The option for holism is always there, quietly waiting for your call. The toxic habit of excessive worrying, defined as uncontrollable Fixation on hypothetical negative outcomes sabotages your present well-being and ability to access life's beauty in the moment without actually safeguarding you from dreaded what if futures that studies confirm rarely manifest anyway. Researchers found over 90s of the disastrous scenarios chronic worriers anguish over fail to materialize, proving the futility of squandering your irreplaceable now, lost in useless mental time travel. Moreover, worrying's false promise of preparedness through negative rumination often backfires by fueling fatalistic assumptions, undermining motivation for positive action in the here and now, while eroding confidence in your ability to handle challenges by stirring anxiety, depression, and myopia about options. People prone to worrying project patterns of personal helplessness and dread onto circumstances that haven't yet gone wrong, if at all this bleak fortune telling from a place of fear. Short circuits our innate capacity to respond with agility, creativity, and courage regardless what arises on life's horizon. When you have the ability to refocus your mind to see clearly, access intuition, and change the environment through presence and possibility. Thinking, why stay stuck in self-fulfilling cycles of negative thought patterns that distort reality? Give up believing that worrying would somehow prevent bad things from happening. Instead, engage fully in the present moment without letting fearful stories obscure your judgment. This will allow you to shine light on the next prudent move revealed by mindful living. When concern appears, rise above artificial security blankets of dread and greet it with confidence in your own judgment, because you can only unleash greater inner resilience, that is, patiently waiting for your call by putting aside little self-mental tricks. The toxic habit of excessive worrying, defined as uncontrollable fixation on hypothetical negative outcomes, sabotages your present well-being and ability to access life's beauty in the moment without actually safeguarding you from dreaded what if futures that studies confirm rarely manifest anyway. Researchers found over 90s of the disastrous scenario chronic worriers anguish over failed to materialize, proving the futility of squandering your irreplaceable now, lost in useless mental time travel. Moreover, worrying's false promise of aridness through negative rumination often backfires by fueling fatalistic assumptions, undermining motivation for positive action in the here and now, while eroding confidence in your ability to handle challenges by stirring anxiety, depression, and myopia about options. People prone to worrying project patterns of personal helplessness and dread onto circumstances that haven't yet gone wrong, if at all this bleak fortune telling from a place of fear. Short circuits our innate capacity to respond with agility, creativity, and courage regardless what arises on life's horizon. When you have the ability to refocus your mind to see clearly, access intuition, and change the environment through presence and possibility. Thinking, why stay stuck in self-fulfilling cycles of negative thought patterns that distort reality? Give up believing that worrying would somehow prevent bad things from happening. Stop worrying things that you can't control. Instead, engage fully in the present moment without letting fearful stories obscure your judgment. This will allow you to shine light on the next prudent move revealed by mindful living. When concern appears, rise above artificial security blankets of dread and greet it with confidence in your own judgment, because you can only unleash greater inner resilience, that is, patiently waiting for your call by putting aside little self-mental tricks. Lesson 6: Always pray and never lose hope. During challenging times, prayer and hope can provide a sense of spiritual grounding during difficult times and moments of doubt. Maintaining a daily prayer routine can help us tap into a boundless source of inner resilience, solace, and direction to keep going at the same time. Holding on to hope helps us imagine different outcomes and believe that there will always be better times ahead even when things appear bleak. Prayer can help us maintain our focus on the sacred even during difficult times. Prayer can be a helpful tool in soothing our worries and breaking free from negative thought cycles through expressing gratitude, seeking grace, relinquishing control to a higher power, or engaging in peaceful meditation. We open ourselves up to intuition, inspiration, and a deep trust in the greater plan of the universe even when the way ahead seems uncertain. Prayer reminds us that love and divine order are always present by taking a moment to listen and rely on spiritual support beyond our own understanding. Clarity can be found. Belief acts as a guiding light, illuminating even the most unclear paths. Having hope gives us the confidence to move forward without feeling the need to fully understand the entire path or final destination. We understand that loss is not a permanent defeat, but rather a temporary struggle in a larger story that ultimately leads to justice. Every moment is filled with opportunities for happiness, meaningful connections, and progress towards our goals. It's important to approach life with a positive outlook regardless of the circumstances. Prayer provides strength and faith during times of darkness, leading us until the light reappears. We surrender our fatigue, bewilderment, and hopelessness to undergo a profound transformation. Anticipating a higher power intervention propels us forward, imagining the positive outcomes that lie ahead. Prayer and hope have the power to unveil the peace, purpose, and promise that can be found in every experience if we are open to seeing and believing. By maintaining a strong spiritual practice and nurturing hope, we can tap into a wealth of resilience and endless possibilities. We can navigate through external challenges with the confidence that everything will eventually be all right. Every night is followed by a dawn, no matter how long the wait may feel. With prayer and hope, even the longest wait feels surprisingly short. In times of hard hardship, prayer and hope provide a strong spiritual grounding. They work together to guide and redirect us until the storm subsides. It is important to maintain a practice of prayer and grounded hope because it provides security and courage during life's darkest moments. Prayer during difficult times helps us find solace and reconnect with the deeper truths that lie beneath the chaos. By embracing moments of calm and expressing appreciation, letting go, and acknowledging our desires, we can break free from the cycle of negative thoughts driven by fear. In prayer, we are reminded of the comforting truth that everything is fine. Challenges are temporary, and our true self is eternally secure in the vastness of infinity. Prayer provides access to wisdom and assurance that light will follow darkness once more. Embracing hope empowers us to move forward even when faced with suffering that tempts us to collapse. Having hope can inspire creative visions for overcoming challenges and persevering, knowing that relief will come at the right time. Having hope allows us to see that present difficulties do not diminish the positive things that lie ahead or the beauty of life as a whole, if we are willing to be open to them. Prayer and hope work together to combat feelings of isolation and powerlessness that can lead to despair. They emphasize eyes that through stronger partnerships All types of losses and deficiencies can be remedied over time. Prayer and hope provide us with the strength and resilience to overcome temporary setbacks. Even the darkest nights eventually give way to the light, bringing joy to those who persevere with their flickering flames. In the valley during times of upheaval and uncertainty, prayer and hope serve as vital sources of support. They remind us that even the most intense storms will eventually come to an end, bringing with them brighter days. You will come out unharmed on the opposite side, having gained from the experience. Hope provides a strong support for our minds during difficult times, reminding us that there is relief and redemption on the horizon. When hope is lost, adversity can quickly take over and lead to negative cycles of cynicism, bitterness, and feeling stuck. When faced with challenges, hope gives us the strength, inspiration, and innovative ideas to overcome current challenges or make progress, no matter how small. Even in the darkest nights, a glimmer of hope emerges, inspiring us to persevere until a new day dawns, like plants seeking sunlight. In difficult times, hope naturally directs our emotional energy towards future breakthroughs. Having hope can serve as a guiding compass, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. We understand that light is present even when it cannot be seen, and we believe that our current journey is leading us towards a positive outcome as part of a greater plan. This inspires confidence to pursue. In addition, hope helps maintain emotional connections during challenging times. When communities face the negative impacts of isolation and mistrust, hope serves as a reminder that we travel together, supporting one another along the way until we all reach the other side and find renewal. Overcoming adversity becomes much more difficult without the ingredients of expectancy, trust in unseen possibility, and resilience that hope provides. May hope keep the window open, welcoming joy back with open arms and banishing any feelings of resignation and despair. Hope is a source of endless possibilities in the midst of life's ups and down bounds. Maintaining a practice of prayer and grounded hope can help us navigate through difficult times. Prayer and hope have a way of grounding and enlightening us when we feel overwhelmed by external circumstances. They remind us to center ourselves in the sacred and to hold on to a greater vision even in the face of challenges. Start by establishing consistent prayer routines as anchors during challenging periods to re-establish a connection with the divine. Prayer helps to recalibrate perspective, whether it's through quiet meditation, conscious breathing, heartfelt requests for help, gratitude, or surrender of control. It helps us recognize the ever-present love and our ability to tap into higher wisdom, which helps us let go of fear-based thoughts. Furthermore, cultivate a sense of optimism by actively recognizing the subtle signs of blessings and good luck that are already present. Take a moment to appreciate the small joys in life. Imagine the potential that can drive your purpose and look at the bigger picture of your ongoing journey. Instead of getting caught up in the confusing parts that may seem disconnected, have faith in people, accept the timing, and embrace the unknown reasons behind every twist of fate. Find support in a spiritual community and seek out uplifting inspirations that can reignite your optimism and conviction during challenging times. Challenge narratives of constant failure emphasize that through creative collaboration, breakthroughs become more attainable, and that even after the longest nights, her light always returns. Let go of expectations and requirements regarding how relief and Redemption should manifest, invite relief through the power of prayer, and create room for a positive transformation. Embrace a mindset of living with anticipation even when the exact results are uncertain. Grace flows like powerful rivers, shaping new paths as we journey. With faith, the call to prayer becomes more pronounced during moments of crisis and despair, such as when tragedy strikes, or we experience a sudden loss of security amidst crumbling foundations, unraveling plans' hands, and unreliable guideposts. Prayer serves as a lifeline that reconnects us to steadfast sources of peace, wisdom, and strength beyond human limitations. By seeking guidance from a higher power and having faith in the mysterious workings of the universe, prayer can provide insight when things become uncertain. Prayer is important in both good times and bad, serving as a reminder of life's important lessons and the need for humility and reliance on something greater than ourselves. Prayer serves as a reminder to remain humble even during times of success, preventing us from becoming arrogant and attributing our victories solely to our own efforts. It encourages us to acknowledge the role of grace and to maintain a sense of reverence towards the divine. Prayer serves as a reminder of our common humanity and helps us uphold dignity and empathy and ethics in the face of the temptation of entitlement. Prayer helps us reflect on how we manage the gifts we have received. Storms may lead to desperate pleas for help, but the wise also pray with equal conviction. During times of calm and abundance, they continuously offer praise while relying on divine care for sustenance. It is important to avoid taking sacred channels for granted by only praying when supplies run low. Maintaining a consistent prayer practice in times of abundance and calm helps to keep our spiritual connection strong, preventing the need for jarring crises. To remind us of its importance by acknowledging and appreciating the constant support of the universe, we can tap into greater wisdom, creativity, and meaning that enriches all aspects of our lives. Vision blossoms from a place of inner peace and focused prayer. There is a strong connection between prayer and hope as they support and strengthen each other. Practicing prayer consistently brings a sense of renewal and fosters a hopeful outlook. This hope fuels the motivation to continue praying for positive outcomes and brighter days. They provide a sense of strength and support during life's various challenges. Praying in all its forms, whether asking for something, expressing gratitude, praising, or surrendering, helps us foster hope. It serves as a reminder that we are not alone in facing challenges, but rather part of a compassionate and supportive universe. Prayer instills faith in the belief that there is a higher power guiding us towards redemption, even if we cannot fully comprehend its plan. This ignites a sense of resilience and determination, maintaining the flickering flame of hope. In addition, when we pray for specific manifestations, it helps us to clearly express our deepest dreams and intentions. Expressing your desires can bring together the necessary forces to make them a reality, even if there isn't immediate external evidence. Using similar names for ailments can help facilitate the healing process. Prayer has a way of drawing in the desired results in the future. At the same time, keeping hope alive sustains the prayer process by assuring us that brighter days are ahead. Even when our current prayers may feel futile, when we don't receive a response, it can be difficult to stay motivated and continue praying regularly. However, maintaining faith in the inevitability of a breakthrough can greatly strengthen the power of prayer. Hope serves as a guiding light leading prayers safely back home in uncertain times. Prayer and hope work together to cultivate endurance, intention, sensitivity, and trust in the midst of challenging storms. They offer a comforting reminder difficult times will eventually fade away, so it's important to stay grounded and hold on tight even when the winds are strong. Keep faith, for redemption is on its way, gradually approaching even during the darkest and most unfamiliar nights. Possibility is always present where prayer and hope thrive. Lesson S. Choose to think positively. Negative mind create negative world. Understanding the immense influence of our thoughts on our personal reality is crucial. Opting for a positive mindset allows us to invite blessings into our lives, while dwelling on negative thoughts can create obstacles. Therefore, maintaining good thought hygiene is essential for overall well-being. Being aware of our thought patterns helps us shape our inner world, which has a big impact on our overall quality of life. When negative thoughts take over, they can cloud our judgment. We tend to focus on the negative aspects and concerns, often overlooking the positive things around us. This creates feelings of resentment, cynicism, and hopelessness, making life seem inadequate. On the other hand, positive thinking helps us see the beauty, opportunity, and solute solutions that lie beyond our narrow viewpoints. In addition, dwelling on negative assumptions can cause us to become more isolated and create situations that confirm our negative beliefs. We often find ourselves creating a sense of abandonment and scarcity due to our tendency to view situations with suspicion and anticipate the worst outcomes even before anything has gone wrong. We attract support through a positive approach, and in addition, scientists study the effects of negativity on the body, including the impact on immune system, cognitive functions, and susceptibility to disorders. Improving physiological functioning through positive neurological patterning has been proven. Projects and relationships flourish when the body is well taken care of. Understanding the power of thoughts to shape our lives, embracing positive thinking becomes essential for finding fulfillment. Pay attention to your inner dialogue and replace negative thoughts with more empowering ones. Incorporate gratitude to shift your focus onto the positive aspects of your life instead of dwelling on what you don't have. Understanding the concept of where attention goes, energy flows. When we nurture positive thoughts and focus on our abilities, we can attract abundance regardless of external circumstances. Having a negative mindset can lead to a cycle of negativity that distorts our perception of reality. When we focus too much on imperfections, we end up feeling constantly dissatisfied and resentful, and we forget to appreciate the beauty and blessings that are all around us. With time, negativity can transform into a source of unhappiness and ignorance. Furthermore, negative assumptions frequently lead to the very outcomes we anticipate as we project doubt onto neutral situations that have not yet turned sour. This can result in distancing ourselves from others and weakening our social support systems. We attract encouragement through positivity. In addition to relationships, scientists also study the effects of long-term negativity on our health at a biochemical level. When activated for extended periods of time by mental loops focused on threats, inflammatory stress hormones like cortisol can have negative effects on immune response, cognitive functions, and overall vitality. On the other hand, positive thinking has been shown to have a positive impact on our physical well-being. Negativity can cloud our Clairvoyance hindering our spiritual clarity. When we only think about the worst possible outcomes, we start to believe that there is not enough and that we are not safe, but the reality is that we live in a universe that is full of abundance and love. Having a positive mindset helps us connect with a more uplifting reality and gain a higher perception. Our thoughts have a profound impact on how life energy manifests, much like how fertile soil welcomes and nurtures seeds. When we focus too much on our fears or weaknesses, it can create obstacles in our lives to bring about real change in our results. It is crucial to transform our thought patterns. Understanding the inner input is crucial for achieving effective outward output. Through the practice of gratitude and focusing on positive actions, we can sow the seeds of blessings that will grow abundantly. Positive thinking involves directing your thoughts towards hopeful and optimistic outcomes rather than fixating on the negative. It usually requires actively reducing negativity and unhelpful mindsets to welcome more positive feelings, viewpoints, and opportunities. For instance, people who have a positive mindset when faced with difficulties often remind themselves that the situation will eventually improve rather than exaggerating the negative aspects. They also tend to believe that others have good intentions rather than assuming malicious intent. They have confidence in finding solutions instead of getting caught up in excessive worry about the worst possible outcomes. In addition, positive thinking highlights the importance of gratitude, particularly recognizing and being thankful for the blessings we have even during difficult times. Focusing on the positive aspects, such as existing supporters' strengths, insights gained, and silver linings, can provide a sense of comfort and help combat negative thinking that contributes to depression. It also enhances problem solving by making it easier to understand. From a scientific standpoint, evidence supports the idea that techniques such as positive affirmations can help rewire our brain's neural pathways. This can shift our focus away from being overly concerned with threats and instead help us become more aware of opportunities. By intentionally adopting helpful beliefs, we can replace unproductive default programming that we may have absorbed unconsciously from our surroundings. In essence, positive thinking involves directing our attention towards our predominant thoughts, interpretations of situations, and self-commentaries regarding our abilities, worthiness, and future possibilities. It's important to control emotional reasoning and maintain a sense of grounded hopefulness. We consciously evolve our perspective by carefully selecting input and examining our assumptions. Changing from negative to positive thinking involves being aware of your thoughts, stopping negative narratives and replacing them with empowering truths focused on finding solutions instead of dwelling on problems. With consistent practice, mental reflexes can be retrained over time. Start paying attention to your inner thoughts when they tend to be negative. Without blaming yourself, take note of repetitive thoughts and consciously introduce positive viewpoints based on your strengths, past successes, and possible ways forward. Don't suppress your fears. Instead, try to put them into perspective with a balanced outlook. This disappointment will also fade away with time if I fill in the blank. Furthermore, it's important to avoid consuming media or commentary that only increases anxiety without providing any value. Take care of what you expose yourself to and surround yourself with supportive people who can help you stay emotionally and mentally energized. Establish positive daily routines by verbally expressing blessings and Potential if negative thought patterns seem overwhelming, try speaking reassuring truths out loud to break the cycle and shift your focus towards positive aspect. You can also try journaling using ideation techniques or reaching out to supportive friends who can remind you of your value. Finally, avoid dwelling on negativity for an extended period of time to maintain a positive focus. Stay focused on your goals and navigate through any doubts that may arise. Keep your sights set on the promising future that awaits you. Launch ships that chart destinies. Direction with mindful and flowing thoughts through careful navigation of turbulent waters. Challenging times give way to moments of happiness and progress. Lesson 8. Take care of yourself. Self-care involves making your personal well-being a priority by intentionally taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. However, self-care is often misinterpreted as just indulgent pampering. It is crucial to prioritize regular self-care for overall well-being. Similar to how regular maintenance ensures cars run smoothly on long journeys, it is important to intentionally address our various needs in order to maintain optimal well-being. Regrettably, in our fast-paced societies, we are often conditioned to ignore the signs of exhaustion from an early age, neglecting the need for rest, setting healthy boundaries, and replenishing our inner resources. Many of us tend to overlook self-care until we reach a breaking point and are forced to reevaluate our priorities. However, it is important to cultivate self-compassion through consistent and positive practices throughout our lives rather than only relying on it during times of crisis. Understanding the importance of self-care goes beyond considering it a luxury. It becomes a necessary requirement for our overall well-being. By paying attention to our bodies' signals and learning how to manage our energy, reduce stress, maintain work-life balance, and nurture reciprocal relationships, we prioritize our own needs alongside our responsibilities to others. Renewing vigor in the long term is achieved by prioritizing our own needs. As we consistently prioritize self-care, we experience a spiritual growth that enhances our self-trust and worthiness. Returning to our true selves, we find solace and recognition even in the midst of a chaotic and unfair world that often overlooks our inner peace and feminine essence. We all have a natural inclination to rest, play, create, and just be. Self-care goes beyond mere pampering and is essential for building meaningful and purposeful lives that can be sustained in the long run. Engaging in self-care helps us reconnect with our inner rhythms and channel our talents outward. When we prioritize our well-being with consistent effort, we gain confidence and positively impact those around us. Take good care of yourself and make a positive impact on the world. It's important to prioritize self-care because our inner well-being is the foundation for everything we do. By consistently taking care of ourselves, we ensure that we have the capacity to support and nourish our communities. When potential caregivers lack proper boundaries, they can experience isolation, burnout, and inner chaos. This can lead to a loss of hope. However, by prioritizing self-restoration and practicing self-love, caregivers can find the strength to engage in long-term, meaningful activism in corrupt systems where oppressed groups are trapped in poverty, trauma cycles, and survival crises. Finding time for indulgent restoration may seem scarce amidst the urgent need to barricade against cruelty's relentless tides. Research indicates that taking just 1 hour per week to engage in activities like dancing, singing, or Swimming can help rejuvenate your mind and prevent compassion fatigue. These activities can help maintain your empathetic instincts, which are crucial for combating callousness. Rediscovering joy strengthens weary healers and advocates for justice who have carried the burden of communal pain for too long without taking time to grieve, celebrate, or rest. So there's no need to feel guilty about taking care of yourself or dismiss enjoyable activities as insignificant or disconnected from making a difference. Embrace the joy of fellowship, play, and creativity without any shame. Understand the importance of self-love as a powerful way to heal the pain and longing within us and to shift our values towards a more compassionate and fulfilling existence. Leisure is not a luxury, but rather a garden where one's character can fully develop by embracing life's joyful experiences. By embracing pleasure and being fully present, we can catch a glimpse of a future where everyone experiences joy and abundance, even in places where scarcity used to prevail. By being diligent with your instrument, you can tune into frequencies that resonate from the eternal source code. This can bring about positive change even in the midst of challenging circumstances, as long as we hold on to hope during difficult times. Keeping a sense of childlike wonder helps us stay aware of injustice while maintaining hope and humor as we navigate the challenging path toward solutions. It's important to take care of ourselves and address any past trauma so that we can remain flexible and resilient in the face of adversity. By aligning our actions with our unwavering values, we can create a better future that prioritizes care and sustainability. Nurture those tiny sparks that persist even when strong winds try to extinguish the fire that resides within you. These sparks are like embers patiently waiting for a gentle breath to ignite them into a roaring flame. Discover the mesmerizing brilliance and pure energy that lies within, untouched by any turmoil or disorder, destined to preserve the magnificence and strength at your very heart. Make it a habit to reclaim this birthright every day. Jennifer had always been proud of her ability to keep things simple and uncomplicated. Even as a child, she enjoyed playing imaginative games by herself rather than needing fancy toys or the company of friends. At the age of 27, she continues to lead a simple and self-sufficient life. She works long hours as a software engineer at a startup and lives in a modest apartment with her rescue dog as her sole companion. Jennifer's straightforward mindset allowed her to stay highly focused on her goals, leaving little time for relationships or self-indulgence. She felt restless whenever she had time off, as she was always driven to excel in her career and prove herself. Even the occasional massages she paid for made her feel guilty, as work tension always seemed to knot her shoulders. She thought self-care was frivolous. Genuine adults persevered through discomfort. For months, Jennifer became more and more annoyed by minor disruptions at the office that interrupted her deep focus. Despite her worsening insomnia, she chose to distance herself from her friends in order to prioritize catching up on her sleep debt. She experienced more frequent migraines, but she relied on pain medication to continue pushing through. She thought that sheer determination could overcome stress, but the pressure was becoming overwhelming. On an otherwise ordinary day, Jennifer couldn't help but burst into tears when the barista made a mistake with her coffee order. Jennifer was deeply moved by the kindness of a stranger who noticed her meltdown, which had a greater impact on her than all the accolades she had received over the years. The stranger's suggestion resonated with the long-ignored pleas within her urging her to take a vacation. Jennifer embarked on a journey of self-discovery. She came to the realization that joy and creativity had disappeared due to her unwavering self-discipline. Jennifer made a commitment to prioritize self-care after realizing she was experiencing burnout. She started prioritizing her essential work, indulged in relaxing baths, created art purely for enjoyment, explored unfamiliar neighborhoods for inspiration, and occasionally switched off her phone. Rest brought back clarity. Jennifer discovered a more fulfilling path to success by embracing her true self and finding a harmonious balance between work and play. She prioritized taking care of herself. Taking care of yourself involves looking within to evaluate what supports or drains your people's well-being by being mindful of the activities, relationships, and environments that make you feel nurtured or drained. You can better understand your core needs. Pay attention to your body's natural rhythms. When it comes to sleep, movement, and nutrition, trust your body's wisdom to maintain overall well-being. Allow for a healthy balance between personal solitude and meaningful social interactions. Encourage creativity, playfulness, and inspiration to rejuvenate your perspective and reignite your passion that may have been drained by the monotony of routine. Furthermore, establish clear boundaries that assert your ability to decline new responsibilities without feeling guilty, especially when they lead to unnecessary stress or imbalance. Create structured workflows that provide space for self-care to thrive without being overwhelmed by excessive obligations. Allow yourself to take a break and accept without subscribing to the idea that working excessively is admirable. There is a significant difference between reacting to overwhelming pressures and taking proactive steps to care for yourself, which not only prevents burnout but also respects your well-being. Taking care of yourself means prioritizing pleasure and renewal as vital parts of your daily routine rather than treating them as occasional indulgences. Investing your time and energy into self-care allows you to give, create, and thrive without depleting yourself. Lesson 9. Surround yourself with positive people. The people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our overall well-being. A strong community provides a sense of safety and encouragement to face challenges and develop resilience. In difficult times, however, unreliable companions can drain your energy. It is important to carefully choose the people we surround ourselves with, as they can greatly influence us and bring out our best. Yet in a world where lives are increasingly transient and digital, connections replace meaningful interactions, we often fail to recognize the significance of fostering deep, uplifting relationships. We often overlook the importance of cultivating close relationships that support each other through life's challenges and successes. Scientists have confirmed that emotional support systems have a significant impact on both physical and mental health. Finding common ground with like-minded people who are dedicated to personal growth, creative thinking, and making a difference is essential for fostering positivity. Our growth relies on the reflections of others who help us discover the innate talents we are still uncovering. Look for like-minded people who are genuinely interested in expressing themselves rather than seeking popularity or making comparisons. Prioritize fostering a sense of community enjoyment rather than solely seeking personal gain through networking. Encourage a culture of openness and Others will feel comfortable being vulnerable when they are treated as equals, not just as resources. Embrace the power of collaboration and mutual support, where everyone's brilliance is magnified when united. Surround yourself with people who have a positive outlook and are committed to making a difference. Embrace the power of positive energy to uplift and inspire others. Planets naturally come together and orbit each other when they cross paths at fortunate intersections. Over time, you will realize that you were already home and you've been journeying there together all along. Being around motivated people who are dedicated to personal development, making a positive impact, and having a positive outlook can greatly influence our overall life experience. Our daily energy has the power to either awaken or sedate our dreams, and to either clarify or cloud the truth about our potential. Therefore, working together to build a positive community is essential. Support groups can be incredibly helpful in reinforcing our goals and aspirations. They provide a positive environment where we can learn from others, celebrate each other's successes, and receive consistent encouragement to keep pushing ourselves. Their presence serves as a reminder that it is possible to live with purpose and kindness, motivating us to keep going. Optimism permeates their environment, spreading effortlessly. Receiving support from others who are pursuing similar goals helps boost our confidence and validates our ambitions as realistic paths rather than mere fantasies. Working together, supportive communities can make challenging tasks more manageable. Resonance amplifies our power, surpassing people efforts hindered by uncertainty or diversion. On the other hand, some companies adopt a negative and skeptical attitude, pretending to be realistic. They consistently discourage ambitious goals by projecting a sense of impossibility. Eventually, this leads to a state of inertia and lowered expectations, where people feel safer and more comfortable than taking risks and pursuing their dreams. This is in stark contrast to the unwavering determination and unquestioning belief in their goals that passionate people share. Understanding the power of relationships and intentionally cultivating your inner circle can be a strategic way to bring your goals to life. Create a carefully chosen group of people around you to create an environment where you can confidently be your best self. To start surrounding yourself with more positive people, it's important to evaluate your current relationships and determine which ones bring you joy and which ones leave you feeling drained. Pay attention to the people who bring you a sense of vitality, as well as those supportive people whom you have unintentionally lost contact with. Additionally, consider reducing your interactions with people who consistently express negativity and cynicism without offering any constructive solutions. No need to engage in big confrontations. Just avoid getting involved in meaningless arguments and instead focus your energy on connecting with positive friends who believe in the potential of humanity. Discovering a fresh and uplifting community can greatly broaden your horizons. Connect with like-minded people in groups dedicated to personal development and building meaningful connections with others who are passionate about making a positive impact. Discover various opportunities to connect with like-minded people through meetups, classes, co-working spaces, conferences, and retreats. When meeting new people, it's best to approach them without setting high expectations right away. Being open with others often leads to them being open with you as well. Discover shared aspirations before delving into Vulnerability relationships that prioritize genuine connection and mutual enjoyment are more likely to last and resonate deeply. Lastly, you can promote a positive atmosphere by actively sharing uplifting resources or congratulating your peers on their achievements. Positivity attracts positivity. Assume the best in humanity and spread that uplifting vision forward, as what you broadcast will come back multiplied. Lesson 10. Treat others well the way you want to be treated. Our interactions with the world have a profound impact, influencing the reality we experience. Each interaction we have creates a ripple effect, spreading positive or negative energies throughout the interconnected web of existence. By treating all people as spiritual kin instead of obstacles or resources for personal gain, we can cultivate compassion and reshape society according to our aspirations. As many people go about their lives often unaware of the spiritual connection we all share, the journey towards collective enlightenment becomes more challenging each time we encounter communication breakdowns. It's important to approach them with humility and forgiveness. By doing so, conflicts can become opportunities for progress and bring us closer together through love. This transformation takes time, but it is worth it as we strive for a better future. Remember that the way you treat others reflects the strength of your character in facing the challenges of this changing world. Rather than seeking comfort and conformity, understanding can be achieved when we let go of our ego and choose to treat others with respect, even if they disagree with us. It's important to remain disciplined and sensitive when faced with the temptation to respond with smug rebukes or defensive withdrawal. Embrace the power of unconditional acceptance. A beacon of light in our lives. A single act of bravery brought tears of relief to the face of a former bigot who now looks back with unexpected unity. The lost found their way back home, thanks to someone who always saw the true essence beneath the surface. Conflicts fueled by fear rather than reality. Victory guided by justice never limits itself to borders. Vigilantes arise when judgment overshadows understanding of why troubled souls arrive at these gates. They seek security through mechanisms that only serve to isolate instead of bringing people together. Love bravely anticipates as the soil patiently awaits the scattered reunification of divided kin once built upon falsehoods of inevitable separation. Only compassion can persuade hearts that have grown weary to remember the inherent freedom that cannot be taken away, no matter how certainty may crumble. Understanding the importance of unity within our community is the first step towards fostering a society that supports and uplifts each other. When we treat everyone with dignity, compassion, and respect, it has a positive impact on society. It sets an example of ethical behavior and helps break the cycle of oppression caused by a divisive mindset. Recognizing the inherent worth of every people and embracing their shared humanity helps to dismantle prejudice and challenge harmful stereotypes. It encourages people to reflect on their unconscious privileges and inspires them to imagine moral solutions that address marginalization. In addition, demonstrating unwavering integrity and empathy in the face of opposition sets a powerful example that is more impactful than being self-righteous. It helps improve standards of conduct by implementing the change you desire in a clear and straightforward manner. Provide healing where there is pain. Furthermore, it is worth noting that observer consciousness has a significant impact on outcomes, as demonstrated by quantum Physics, our existence is intertwined in a complex web where positive thoughts, words, and actions create a harmonious ripple effect, promoting a sense of divine order. This enables you to go beyond narrow boundaries. To put it simply, living honorably means following moral laws that emphasize the importance of treating others well, which ultimately leads to the creation of strong and lasting societies. Kindness is a valuable asset that brings about unexpected blessings. Treating opponents with unconditional goodwill is a wise choice that promotes peace and order for the benefit of all. Understanding the golden rule, which encourages us to treat others as we would like to be treated, is a valuable lesson. However, it can be difficult to put into practice when we come across people who disregard basic decency and behave inappropriately towards us. Understanding the importance of responding without judgment to incivility and how it aligns with our higher purpose. Start by actively trying to look beyond preconceived notions, biases, and assumptions that may be affecting your perception of challenging people or groups. Everyone possesses inner beauty and personal struggles that shape their behavior. This helps to counter immediate dismissiveness by fostering empathy when interacting with others. It's important to prioritize listening over speaking, even when dealing with challenging perspectives. This fosters connection by promoting understanding instead of engaging in arguments that may be seen as ignorant or threatening, which could escalate defensiveness. Rather than promoting reconciliation in order to foster healthy relationships, it is important to approach others with an open mind, give them the benefit of the doubt, and forgive any mistakes they may make. By doing so, we can strengthen our own dignity and break free from negative cycles that can harm our connections with others. People who have been hurt often end up hurting others. Light is the only force that can eliminate darkness. Let your light shine. The golden rule emphasizes the importance of family in building a strong community. Every being has the potential to reach their highest self by recognizing their inherent worth. The path of history may be lengthy, but it is guided by resilient people who confront fear and hate with the power of unconditional love, leading to a heightened sense of conscience. Lesson 11. Remove any bad addiction in your life. Hidden beneath the web of dependencies lies a desperate search for fulfillment, seeking temporary relief in external distractions that ultimately leave us feeling empty. This cycle of craving and disappointment only deepens the sense of isolation and shame when we are unable to resist its grip on our lives. The tragic reality is that the initial wounds push people towards addiction, while the refusal to acknowledge these wounds prevents complete healing. However, there is a great power in store for those who are willing to face reality heat and let go of false pretenses and address the harmful habits that are slowly eroding the stability of their lives. It is important to acknowledge the painful truth and not simply distract ourselves from it. Only by confronting the deep-rooted pain can we hope to find healing and overcome the toxic effects it has had on us. This process may be challenging, but with a strong spiritual resilience, it is possible to find a cure. Redemption is always within reach, even if it's been a while or if mistakes have been made. It's important to put pride aside and seek wise support. However, in order to make a real change, one needs to reach a point of desperation where they can acknowledge the control addiction has taken and be completely honest with themselves about the underlying issues that are masked by Dependency. These detours only amplify problems and provide temporary relief. Embrace the opportunity to acknowledge your pain and face the truth, as hitting rock bottom can be a solid foundation for growth. It's time to confront the sickness that has been hidden by denial and anxious lies. When the truth is revealed, it takes courage to face the damage caused by negligence and commit to restoring lost integrity. This is especially true when someone promises paradise but instead steals away the meaning of life. With a focus on honesty, seek support from external sources when faced with overwhelming challenges. Connect with your community and embrace practices that help you tap into your inner wealth, something that cannot be replaced by temporary highs. Just keep taking small steps towards living with integrity, and you'll find the freedom you're looking for. Free from the grip of addiction. The path to liberation requires embracing ruthless honesty, courage, and faith to confront the lies that have closed off the possibility of reclaiming a dignified life. Through repentance, we can break free from the cycles that have held us back and find lasting wholeness. Addictions are characterized by unhealthy dependencies on substance, activities, or thought patterns that disrupt neurobiology and lead to compulsive repetition of experiences, even when they have negative consequences. These things offer short-term enjoyment or diversion that keep users trapped in a cycle of desire and exhaustion, gradually wearing down their abilities. Unhealthy addictions revolve around behaviors that clearly harm various aspects of life, including physical, mental, relational, financial, IAL, or legal realms. It encompasses more than just chemical dependencies on alcohol or opioids. It also includes process addictions such as gambling, excessive use of digital media, sex addiction, gaming obsession, and compulsive stealing, or lying. The distinction between casual enjoyment and clinical addiction occurs when formerly positive tools start to negatively affect one's priorities, relationships, and inner peace. When addiction leads to withdrawal, distress, life instability, legal issues, or health decline, it is seen as negative. This happens when dependence goes beyond mindful moderation and self-control. Getting help from a professional is important for recovery because addiction affects the brain and can make it difficult to rely solely on willpower. Substance use can weaken our ability to resist cravings and can create automatic responses that make it harder to change. Establishing long-term change requires utilizing counseling, therapy groups, medication, and lifestyle restructuring. These interventions are crucial in reprogramming the brain to overcome harmful compulsions. Bad addictions offer users temporary relief but come with significant long-term consequences that can make achieving sobriety seem daunting without outside assistance. There are various options available for people who find themselves at a critical juncture where they are ready to confront their dependence and regain their lost dignity. The future remains full of possibilities for improvement. Understanding addiction requires considering a variety of factors, including biology, psychology, and social influences. Various factors such as genetic predispositions, life experiences, trauma, mental health issues, and environmental conditions can contribute to an increased vulnerability to addiction. There isn't just one cause. From a biological perspective, people who are more susceptible to addiction exhibit variations in certain areas of the brain that regulate impulse control, decision-making, and the processes of learning and memory. Substances that are addictive have the ability to manipulate the brain's neurotransmission processes, resulting in powerful dopamine highs that the brain becomes dependent on over time. It adjusts and necessitates increased substance use to attain desired rewards. Typically, addiction is influenced by psychological factors such as depression, anxiety, low self-worth, PTSD, or personality disorders that may exist before the addiction begins. A lot of people try to treat the distress on their own without developing healthy coping skills. People often rely on external solutions that offer temporary relief, ultimately leading to a cycle of dependency. In terms of social factors, experiences of childhood instability, lack of nurturing, conflicts within the family or with peers, and overt abuse are closely linked to a higher likelihood of developing addiction tendencies later in life, as well as hindered emotional development in adulthood. Formative experiences have a way of shaping our worldviews and relationships, often leading to chaos and a lack of self-confidence. To sum it up, addiction develops as a result of both genetic and environmental factors. Genetic risks can emerge in environments that lack predictability, where substance use becomes a way to seek control, satisfaction, or diversion. When healthier options are not readily available over time, this reliance on substances can lead to a recurring cycle of tolerance, which can harm both physical well-being and overall stability. Compulsion arises when a person who has been relying on substances to cope suddenly feels vulnerable without them starting the process of overcoming. An unhealthy addiction involves taking a sincere look at how it affects various aspects of your life, such as relationships, finances, self-care, work, life balance, and inner peace. Being honest about the harm caused creates a sense of urgency for making changes. Next, it's important to focus on understanding the emotional voids, coping skill deficits, and triggers that contribute to addictive behaviors. Simply addressing substance withdrawal symptoms during detox is not enough, as relapse is still likely without addressing the underlying causes. Consider seeking counseling to address underlying issues, acquire techniques for self-soothing, and receive empathetic support. Getting rid of addictions requires consciously developing new daily routines and lifestyle habits that don't revolve around the addiction. Get involved in groups that promote strong social connections, creative activities, physical fitness, spirituality, or personal development. Having a well-organized structure is crucial when rebuilding the natural neurotransmitter reward systems that previously supported self-destructive behavior. Do not underestimate the power of biochemical forces. Medication can provide relief along the way. It's important to remain watchful for any emotional or situational triggers that could potentially lead to a relapse even long after overcoming addiction. Be brave and embrace starting anew by taking ownership rather than succumbing to self-hate when facing obstacles. Your level of persistence plays a crucial role in shaping your destiny, often outweighing any temporary setbacks you may encounter along the way. The path to freedom from addiction may be challenging, but it offers the promise of renewed inspiration, trustworthy relationships, and the revival of dreams that were once sacrificed to the grip of addiction. Take small steps each day to regain your sense of wholeness. A fire can be ignited with just a small spark. Lesson 12: choose to live a healthy lifestyle. Style, understanding, and embracing optimal wellness empowers people and communities to unlock their full potential throughout their lives. However, the advancements in industry have disrupted the natural balance and boundaries that maintain harmony. This has resulted in the adoption of quick and convenient solutions, leading to chronic stress and normalized toxicity that harm our intricate biological systems. Nevertheless, by embracing ancestral wisdom traditions that prioritize prevention over crisis, intervention, holism over compartmentalization, and the healing power of living systems over profit motives, there is a realistic possibility of revitalizing collective health even in the face of significant challenges. Our incarnate spirits can greatly benefit from daily practice that honors the interrelation of vital facets that have been overlooked for too long due to fragmented approaches. Therefore, make a conscious effort to adopt lifestyle habits that support your overall well-being. This includes getting enough sleep, eating nutritious food, staying active, finding ways to relieve stress, surrounding yourself with a supportive community, maintaining a healthy work-life balance, and creating toxin-free environments. And creating toxin by doing so, you can prevent any disruptions in your natural human functioning and preserve your innate vitality. Reconnect with the art of understanding body and soul signals, which can guide us towards our natural rhythm if we pay attention. This is especially important after years of being distracted by media and consumerism, which can lead to illness, stress, and fatigue. Attention is required to break down the information and force a recalibration following an avoidable crisis. Take back control of your energy and shape it according to your own choices and responsibilities. Activate the evolutionary impulse within you by rebelling against false limiting norms and committing to nourishing the servant. This will allow the dance of healing transformation to continue beautifully on its predestined path. Choosing to prioritize your well-being by adopting a healthy lifestyle greatly enhances the quality and length of both your own life and the lives of those around you. However, in our fast-paced world, not many prioritize taking care of themselves before problems arise. Reclaiming this authority offers the promise of liberation from the risks of prematurely ending one's life purpose. It emphasizes the importance of conscious daily practice to amplify alignment instead of allowing it to be exploited. Respecting our body's innate wisdom protects valuable treasures that can be easily dulled by stress and the harmful effects of profit-driven systems that do not prioritize human well-being and social justice. However, spreading false information does not have to result in global populations experiencing premature aging, depression, and contagion, which have been scientifically proven to increase when lifestyles deviate from sustainable rhythms ingrained in humanity's nature. Beyond people control, we understand the challenges of navigating societal pressures and misinformation. When it comes to sustainable habits, together we can work towards creating a culture that promotes realistic and balanced approaches. In today's fast-paced world, many people neglect their physical and mental well-being due to poor nutrition, lack of exercise, constant exposure to media induced anxiety, and the pressure to be productive around the clock. This lifestyle can lead to a disconnection from our inner creativity and a sense of imbalance within our communities. It's important to recognize and address the quiet despair that can silently take hold in our lives. Every time we make a commitment to reject false programming, we bring ourselves and society closer to a balanced state and a Future where cooperation is valued. The future is revealed by those who dare to explore new paths, embracing the power of natural design and surpassing the limitations of human science. Positive lifestyle transformation can unlock hidden talents and revitalize communities. Get ready to see a profound transformation as more and more people rediscover the incredible benefits of working together with nature's wisdom for optimal health. The co-creative impulse used to guide us effortlessly towards harmony with the liberating rhythms that reside within us. These rhythms patiently wait for us to listen to them again now that the confusion has cleared and the dawn of clarity has arrived, banishing the shadows of uncertainty. Healthy living is all about developing sustainable habits that promote wellness in various aspects of life, including mental, physical, social, and spiritual well-being. Although everyone has their own unique approach, there are fundamental principles that can help anyone succeed. Begin by evaluating aspects of your lifestyle that require more attention or moderation. This may involve cutting back on processed foods, limiting exposure to chemicals, reducing excessive media consumption, improving sleep quality, and increasing physical activity to enhance your overall well-being. Make a conscious effort to shift your daily choices towards creating clean, balanced, and minimally toxic environments. Optimize your body's functioning with personalized nutrition and movement strategies. Find ways to reduce stress by engaging in activities that promote relaxation and avoid taking on unnecessary tasks that drain your energy. Furthermore, it is important to carefully observe your thoughts. Promote a positive and purposeful mindset by engaging with uplifting media, practicing mindfulness, participating in an inspirational community, and engaging in activities that foster creative flow states. It is important to prioritize the well-being of your emotional, psychological, and spiritual dimensions alongside physical discipline in order to achieve sustainable wellness. Make a lifelong commitment to continuously learn about how to take care of your unique organism. Pay attention to natural cues for optimal well-being instead of relying on generic recommendations. Our complex biology sends messages through symptoms to indicate where support is required. Take radical authority and honor pain or disease as sacred feedback on internal equilibrium. It demands gentle restoration through nurturing missing key components essential to your sovereign thriving. Embracing oneself with kindness throughout life's ups and downs leads to a fulfilling journey of wellness. Embrace the power of working together with your inner self, and you'll find that everything necessary to fulfill your purpose will effortlessly fall into place, bringing you joy and minimizing any challenges. Understanding the connection between our bodies and consciousness is key. By taking care of ourselves and nurturing our inner being, our external appearance will naturally fall into place. Now we arrive at the last chapter of our quest for a happier existence. Now you have discovered the 12 secrets that can assist you in attaining lasting happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace. Discover the secrets to transforming your mindset and lifestyle, allowing you to cultivate natural joy from within. These powerful principles, such as self-acceptance, gratitude, forgiveness, optimism, and healthy living, provide a blueprint that is easy to understand and implement. Every minor adjustment has a ripple effect as you reflect on the insights and daily practices shared in this book. It's important to remember that joy follows spiritual laws much like the laws of nature that bring us harvest in due time by nurturing your inner world with awareness and consistency. The fruits of joy will manifest in your life. Embrace the belief that a happier life is yours for the taking. Make it a habit to prioritize mindfulness and self-care, knowing that the universe is always there to support your noble goals. Stay resilient in challenging moments and keep practicing the newfound knowledge until obstacles turn into victories. May the information provided here be a helpful guide illuminating your way forward with optimism. The more you water these seeds, the more abundance they will produce. Make a commitment to embark on this journey with bravery, spreading happiness within yourself so that it can be shared with the world. Thank you for taking me on this journey with you. This is Dark Psychology World Channel. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, like, and share.